Hello, you're watching Startup Booster, an online guide that will help you to create and develop a successful startup. This video course was created by a global platform for startups and investors, InnMind.com. InnMind connects professionals in the sphere of innovations, helps startups to find investors, mentors, and experts, and provides with instruments and resources for growth and development of a business, as well as supports investors with expertise and due diligence. I'm Katerina, co-founder at InnMind, and our guest today is Jonikas, PhD in marketing and author of the book Startup Evolution Curve. Hello, Donatas.
Okay, hi everyone. It's nice to be here and to share some thoughts about startup marketing. So I'm ready to answer your questions. And okay, after the video, of course, you can leave some comments below the video probably, or wherever there is a possibility, and I can come back later and even answer your questions if you have came to them a bit later after this video is already recorded. So I'm ready.
Thank you, Donatas. It's very nice to have you here with us. And our topic today is marketing in startups. So the first question would be, how does marketing for a startup differ from marketing from medium or big size company?
Okay, it's really good question, and some people not always imagine those differences, especially those new people who are in marketing. And probably one of the main differences is the budget that is operated by medium and larger companies. The budget allows them to hire higher quality specialists, to acquire various online and offline marketing tools, to spend their budget on wide media channels, and etc., etc., etc. They have quite many weapons in their marketing arsenal. But when you are a startup, usually you are so-called one-man army, when you have to do everything alone or with your co-founder, and it's much more difficult. First of all, because you have to take care not only about marketing. The marketing is only one of the pieces of the whole puzzle. And the next thing is that you have limited amount of money compared to those budgets that are operated by larger companies. So this is the first and probably the initial difference of marketing in startups and in large and medium companies. But what's also quite important, that market fit is not always found in startups at the very early stages. So when medium and large companies have their clear call to actions, they have clear their value propositions. They clearly know what they want their customers to do, for instance, to sign up, to buy, to purchase, to do whatever. But when you are a startup, you are still working on your business model. You are still developing your value proposition. You are still running some experiments, some tests, and you cannot throw all your tiny budget into one single channel or into delivering your one single message to that. So this is another issue that you have to work on your market fit, first of all. When you have it, okay, this is becoming something quite similar to those marketing tasks that are faced by medium companies or small companies, but established ones. And another thing is that different marketing goals are set in startups compared to medium and large companies. As for instance, for startups, first of all, you should have your market fit. The second task is to onboard your clients. Finally, you have to think about onboarding paid customers, paid clients, then to initiate the viral effect of all that stuff. And for most companies, those who are established, those who have their traditional businesses, okay, they have quite clear KPIs of their businesses. They just need to acquire, okay, another one user, another one customer, and that's it. It's more likely copy-paste, comparing and adopting according to the competition. But when you are a startup, your marketing goals are a bit different compared to those ones. So these are a few main differences. Budget, one-man army, that you have to do everything alone. Your tasks, your goals in marketing, and the fact that not always you have the essence that you are already able to communicate, the product market fit, the call to action.
Mm-hmm. So as we can see, this task of marketing startup is a really tough one, comparing even to medium-sized companies or to big companies, because not only marketing that should be kept in mind by the co-founders, but also lots of other tasks And the next question is like, now that you started this topic about market fit, when is it necessary to start marketing activity for a startup? Or from the very early stage, or a little bit later, when they should think about that?
Actually, you should start thinking about marketing the same minute, the same second when you started thinking about your startup, that you wanted to build a business, then you want to start a startup. That's the time when you have to start thinking about marketing. As the guru in management, Peter Drucker, said, that only innovation and marketing create value. Everything else is cost. So if you are a startup, you are based on some kind of innovation, okay, innovative technology, innovative business model, or whatever, but most of startups engage in innovation. The second component of your success factor is marketing, how to deliver this message and who are your customers. So the very first question that should be answered in the marketing domain is, who is your target customer? What kind of problem you are solving for them, or what kind of value you are delivering for them, even before building a product. Just do a simple market research on that, and that's already marketing. So if you will skip this step, you will start building your product, wasting your money, and maybe it's not a good fit in the market. So you should start think about marketing the very same second when you start thinking, okay, it would be cool to have a startup. That's it.
Okay, great advice. So could you just give this brief guideline? What would be the first step in marketing for founders for a startup?
Generally, I advise for startups to address three main questions when they start thinking about their marketing, and it's coded in the marketing strategy, actually. These three questions are who, what, and how. Who is your customer? What are you trying to sell them? What are you proposing for them? And how you plan to sell them? When you can answer those questions, you have a quite good start in your marketing.
Okay, so when the founder could answer these three questions, what would be the next steps in marketing? So the founder knows who they are going to sell their product, what they are going to offer, and how. Like, let's say they created the number of channels, how they are going to reach their audience. So now what would be the next steps?
The next step would be testing. Actually, if you have answered to those three questions, it would be quite good to see the fitting with competitors. Do we have any kind of competition over there or not yet? Do we have any possible partnerships, like for exclusivity, for leveraging our business activities, and so on? Generally, I cover the first huge step, like the first stage of startup development, and I call it a feasibility study, whether your business is feasible or not yet. Okay, if you have answered those three questions, it's just the beginning, but there are far more questions. Okay, maybe hundreds of questions to be answered. Just before spending your money on any kind of product building or on advertising, you can do this by collecting the secondary data and checking, okay, whether it's feasible or not. So this is the first biggest step, the first stage, called feasibility study. But even when you have answers to all those questions and say, okay, my business looks quite promising, I guess I will be earning quite good money, or maybe I expect to be acquired by a huge company because I have some kind of traction possibilities. That's also a possible business model, but that's just an assumption. And okay, thinking based on secondary data facts, that not necessarily will be true in your case. So the second stage, or the second largest step, would be checking your business hypotheses and verifying them. If you can't verify your business model, if you can't verify your product market fit, if you can't verify your customer acquisition costs, or at least customer channels, so how you plan to develop your business? Better to do those hypothesis verifications as early as possible, and only then invest money in huge marketing activities. That's the second step. There's a huge discussion running around when should startups be thinking about fundraising. So some of experts advise, okay, maybe it's wise to have some funding at the very early stage. Okay, just to have in mind, okay, there's a sufficient fund for us to do something initially. But my study of more than 1,000 startups that I've surveyed, and I had in-depth interviews, showed that If you don't have your feasibility study and your hypothesis verified, it will be very, very difficult to attract reasonable and valuable investors for a startup. So I would say that fundraising would be your next step, and it should be a third step, a third stage of startup development. You have feasibility study, you have verified your business hypothesis. Okay, now you're ready to go to investors and to explain them what are you planning to do, who is your target customers, what kind of problem you are solving, and how you're going to deliver this value. And you can show the proofs from the real market, from real conditions, that you're ready to do that. That's okay. You can get money from investors much more easier. Then the fourth stage, or the first huge step, would be product launch or market launch. Call it as you like it. Okay, just before that was a testing, maybe product for the manufacturing, maybe building some kind of an MVP. But now you have to produce thousands of your products. Maybe you have to develop your software till the very end and to be ready to deliver to your potential users. So that's the market launch stage. Then you have to plan everything and implement. It's not only related to the product manufacturing. Even before the starting product manufacturing, you should align the manufacturing schedule with your marketing schedule. When you will be able to deliver a certain amount of products to what kind of markets, and whether you will be able to sell this amount that you will be able to produce, and etc., etc. So the first stage is the prepare your marketing plan. And it's not finished like, okay, I did a marketing plan and that's it, the fourth stage is finished. No, you have to implement a marketing plan and constantly relook it once again and recheck it. It's the same like the lean methodology: build, measure, learn. So when you have established your marketing plan, you implement it, you measure how it's successful for you or not successful, and update it accordingly. So this is the fourth stage. And the final stage, according to the research I did, would be wisest way to think: the growth hacking or scaling your startup. And this is one of the mistakes of startups. Think about growth hacking at the very beginning. Okay, maybe we have some kind of hypothesis verifications already done, and now we should hire a growth hacker and to do the boom, wow, something great, and our startup will be famous in the world. No, most of those tries will be failures, actually. So when you have the product market fit, when you have your marketing plan implemented, your product running in the market, you see the real traction, the real income, real revenue coming in, then you should think about scaling your business. Okay, how to grow your startup 10 times a year? Maybe that could be a challenge for you. How to grow 100 times a year? Maybe that could be possible as well. That's it. But it is the fifth stage, when everything else is already done step by step. So that would be the basic sequence.
So the very crucial thing that I heard now is that before coming to the investor, startup, maybe even if they don't have their product yet, they can already come with some data, meaning this results of the feasibility study, whether it's analysis of the secondary data or the analysis and collecting and analyzing the first hand, like the data from the first hand from their potential clients. So this is something that is very important, as far as I understood you, for a startup on the early stage. Like before thinking about fundraising, think about your market fit, think about your potential audience, and analyze it thoroughly. Okay, and the next question would be, does every startup need a marketing person in their team, or a technical co-founder can make this kind of job, or any other co-founder can just use their own skills to do marketing, to prepare this analysis?
Okay, the answer to all those questions related to the same essential question would be like, not necessary. It's not necessary that you have to hire a marketing guru, a very skilled marketing guy or specialist seasoned in the marketing, but it's not necessary that a technical guy will succeed in the marketing as well. So what I've seen in my practice, that those startups who have at least some kind of a knowledge in the marketing initially, at least one of the co-founders who has been in sales, in marketing, or in company management process, these startups do much better. They achieve market fit faster, they can attract first customers faster, they can attract investors, more malleable investors, and do that faster. So the thing is that, okay, can anyone be a dentist or a doctor? Probably not anyone. So the same is with marketing. But when you are a young startup, an early stage startup, you probably won't have enough budget to hire a seasoned marketing expert, and maybe not everyone will be willing to join just for having shares in the future for your startup. Okay, what to do next? So the simple advice would be to seek for mentors and consultants. And some of mentors are free, some are paid consultants, and you can browse, you can look for them. And I guess like InnMind is one of the valuable resources where you could meet such persons that could join your startup, at least with some advices. Actually, I'm working on a special project for startups. The service will be delivered for startups, and I am working with 3 startups at the moment, like testing the service package about that. And I see it's being quite validated, because startups can, it's just for instance, not for advertising. Startups can have me as their outsourced chief marketing officer, executive, call it as you like. We meet with startups each week, at least once. For instance, we set up Fridays or Thursdays, and we have a call at least for half an hour or an hour, and we are checking what was done in their marketing and what are their next tasks for the next week, and where they hit the wall, where they have questions, where they failed. So I'm here to help them. We try to answer, to figure out, to do some tasks. If they want, okay, I can help them with doing some kind of a homework for them instead. And it's much more cheaper than hiring me as okay, the full-time consultant. That's it. So it's like a tiny fee, and getting the feedback and keeping the pace. Okay, we are conducting every week and doing something for your marketing every week. At least 3 tasks, 3 to-do tasks should be done during the week. That's it. If it's not done, they are being scolded by me that they're not doing enough efforts in their marketing. That's it. So after a couple of months, I will see how this service package is going, because I'm trying this service with at least 3-month package. After the 3 months, we will check, okay, what was the initial stage of those startups who got this kind of mentoring? And after the 3 months, okay, what are results? So after that, I can share with you. But the main idea is that, okay, if you have some kind of marketing experience in the team, it's awesome. If you don't have it, it's not a tragedy. You can do it, you can work on it, and you can seek for knowledge. It's not necessary to be a paid knowledge. Okay, you can read my book and get some kind of knowledge. So that's it. It's not very expensive. The Kindle, I don't know, a few bucks. That's it. So, or you can try to find mentors, educators. That.
Mm-hmm. So if I understood you correctly, startups can make their marketing by themselves, but they can also address to those resources that are available. And as you explained, like coaching, mentoring, reading materials. So we know that lots of these things are available. Depending on the needs, the costs would also vary. So it doesn't mean that the startup should run after the very expensive marketing specialist. They can just find what they can afford.
Yeah, actually, the main idea here is that at the very, very beginning, you don't need to have very expensive marketing resources, because there are no huge tasks in marketing to be done. Okay, you can do it by yourself, you can do it with the help of advisors, and later on, when you got funded, when you have traction, when you have revenues coming in, okay, you can hire the whole marketing team. They can be even 5 persons working in your marketing department and doing all the stuff globally. That's it. But at the very beginning, yes, it's reasonable to do it on your own with some kind of an outsourced support.
Speaking about the budget for the marketing in the early stage, so startups, what do you think should be the budget? So we just discussed with you that, for example, it might be some budget for consultations, for mentoring, but other things. Do you think they should invest, for example, in Facebook ads or Google ads? So do they have to advertise their startup even on the early stages, or a bit later on? How much do they spend on that?
Okay, I would say very simply, it depends on your goals. How much of the budget for marketing you need, it depends on your goals generally. If you are just running a hypothesis verification, okay, it would be good to have $100 for your hypothesis verifications, okay, to spend some on Google ads, on Facebook ads, just to see if your ads, if your message, if your value proposition get some traction. Okay, if there are some clicks, if there are some links coming to your website, if they leave some kind of emails or you get queries from them, that's okay. That could be achieved with few bucks. That's it. Generally, the very early stage marketing tasks could be done without budget at all. For instance, you can use secondary data, which is publicly available in statistics departments, in associations, in various LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups. That's it. You can do it. You don't need to pay the consultant for market analysis. You can do it by your own. Of course, at certain stage, you will need to start advertising, and that will require your money. But in this stage, you can also try to go like bootstrapping and without spending your own money. Just find certain LinkedIn or Facebook groups of your target audience and try to share useful content, give some useful advices, and keep the link to your product landing page. If you got some kind of leads coming over there, that could be a market verification for you. Okay, cool, our product is interesting for them. Then you can try to spend a bit of money to leverage this traffic to get more similar users coming to your website. That's it. And what I'd like to advise for all startups, and not only for startups, for companies, J. Conrad Levittson, the father of guerrilla marketing, suggested in his guerrilla marketing strategy that every company should foresee the marketing budget as percentage from their revenue, from their sales revenue. You don't necessarily have to spend this amount of money. But for instance, if you say, okay, guys, we will have to say, let's say 5%, 10%, or 2% from our revenue for marketing budget, okay, we don't need to spend it today. At the end of the year, we will have, okay, a few $100 over there, a few $1,000 over there. It just depends, but it will allow us to have a free hands for some kind of resources, for testing resources. That's the simple solution.
I find this very wise advice for startups to not just to blow money into all the sources and all the channels to do their marketing, but first of all to analyze what kind of goals you have and what kind of channels would be the most effective, and then also follow this advice that Jonikas has just mentioned about having the specific percentage from the revenue that is dedicated to marketing activities. My last question, Dontas, would be: could you please name a few mistakes that startups make in marketing activities?
Okay, we could talk about this topic the whole day probably, because there are many startups, many mistakes. Not all of those mistakes are done by every startup, but most often mistake probably would be the fact that startups are not facing on creating real tangible value for their customers. That's the mistake probably number one. When they just invent something or create something that could be called nice to have benefit, and they say, okay, we will sell this product or service to the client because it's okay, it's nice, it's cool, but it's not necessarily very valuable to the client. Okay, when the economy is booming, when everyone has a significant income, okay, they will probably buy your product, your service. That's okay. But what will happen when they will cut their budgets? First of all, they will cut their budget on those things that are not necessary. They're just nice to have. Okay, we can live with them. So this is the first mistake, and it's highly related to another mistake that your value proposition should be validated in the market. It doesn't count that I think this is valuable value proposition. No, guys, I saw the statistics data that our value proposition should be very valuable. As well, it doesn't count. Go to the market, go to your direct potential customers and suggest them this offer. If they accept it, if they give you their money to you, that will be a verification. That's okay. You can build your startup, you can build your product, and you can invest in that. Otherwise, if people say, okay, this is nice, cool stuff, I probably would buy it, but if they don't pay you for the solution, don't trust too much for their words, because saying is not the same as paying. I could be your friend and I could say, okay, this is nice stuff, okay, work on, do it. But if you suggest me, okay, buy it at the half of the price at the moment, I say, maybe I don't need it at the moment. So this is poor market verification. Don't do that. Another mistake is probably quite critical as well, related to competitors. Thinking that we have no competitors. Our product is so unique, it's so fantastic that there are no competitors in the market at all. Or some startups find, okay, we have 2 or 3 competitors, but we are better. We are the best solution in the market. When I say, okay, how do you know that? Because we are young, we are very goal-oriented. Those companies are working 3 years in the market. Okay, so how can you be better about that? And the competitive analysis is done just like roughly, not in-depth analysis. So those competitors are underestimated. You don't know everything about them, what's important, what's crucial for your business decision. So spend a bit more money on, not money, but time on analyzing your competitors. Acquire their product and test their product if it's possible, and to compare with yours. What will be the customer experience from your side, checking the competitor's solution. And another thing is that most startups forget that they are competing not only with direct competitors, but with indirect as well, which means that you are competing with the old ways of solving the same problem. If you have some kind of innovative solution, customers might not be willing to buy it. Why? Because they don't understand that this problem is very important, or they have their old school solution for this problem. So yeah, we have a solution, I don't need it. Most of people are quite skeptical to new things. And if you don't evaluate this as well will be your mistake. Just counting that everyone will understand how cool is your stuff, it's not necessarily going to happen. So check it in advance. And probably the third one mistake would be related to the big boom launches and growth hacking. Thinking that, okay, when we have some kind of marketing guys coming or growth hackers coming to our team, everything will be okay. We are now just developing our product, but when we have those teams inside, everything will be cool. Not necessary. It's not my data, but it's official data that approximately 80% of startup big launches are failures. Only 20% of startups who count on big launches are successful. So, okay, yes, you can have some chances to be successful with big boom launch. It means, okay, you attracted investors, you prepared a huge marketing plan, a huge visibility on media, on press releases, and etc. Yes, you have chances, but only 1 of 5 that you will succeed in. So maybe better to be amongst those 80% that are doing step by step and preparing the market entry strategy, developing it step by step, not counting that the miracle will happen one day. And the same is said about the growth hacking. Don't think that growth hacker is some kind of a guru or special guy. Think about 3 growth engines, like sticky engine of growth, viral engine of growth, and paid engine of growth. You can think about them without even growth hackers, and to check if your product has some potential to any of those growth engines. If it doesn't have, guys, you have a problem. None of the growth hackers will help you, because you still have at least one of those engines employed into your product or into your value proposition. That's it. If you don't have it, it's your mistake again.
So thank you so much. Yeah,
we can continue with even more mistakes, but I guess the time is limited. So
yeah, so mistakes, yes, I think it's the separate topic for the separate interview. Thank you, Donatas, so much. So just to sum up, we should remind that startups should not mix up 2 different notions, which is marketing and advertising, because lots of startups connect marketing with direct promotion of their product, but they forget that before that they have to do lots of preliminary work that we have discussed today about the feasibility study, about the checking and validating their market fit. So I would recommend all the startups to go and check all these 5 steps in the book of Donatas Jonikas, which is called Startup Evolution Curve. You can find it on Amazon, and feel free to ask us questions, and feel free to join us for the next interviews, for the next videos in our video course Startup Booster. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.